Productivity is a major focus of this podcast, and usually you can kind of tell if you're doing a good or bad job of being productive. But if there's any doubt in your mind, then I've got some good news. There's a quiz you can take to find out if all those life hacks you learned about on this podcast are really making you more productive. I took it, and I had a lot of surprises, actually. But first, let's talk about some common pitfalls that prevent productivity. And this is important because Americans aren't necessarily super great at being productive. An international Harvard Business Review survey of roughly 20,000 people recently found that North Americans work longer hours than people in other countries, but get only average scores on productivity. Typical European, Asian, and Australian workers in the survey were all more productive. And that productivity problem has its roots in 4 basic pitfalls. At least that's according to Robert C. Posen, a lecturer at MIT's Sloan School of Management. Here's what he says they are, along with some tips on how to avoid them. First, there's aimlessness. A productive person devotes most of their time to essential projects. So if you put something like a meeting on your calendar, try jotting down the objective it serves. If you can't think of one, then you might want to think twice about committing your time to it. It'll also help if you can streamline or delegate low-priority tasks. Just remember to delegate in a smart way, because the second pitfall is micromanaging. Productive people delegate everything they can, but importantly, they also give their subordinates space to make mistakes and learn from them. The third pitfall is overscheduling. If you jam your schedule with so many meetings and projects that one bout of food poisoning could derail your entire career, you might look productive, but you're actually setting yourself up for missing deadlines and important meetings. To avoid this, block out some time for unforeseen crises, and even more for thinking quietly. And the fourth pitfall? Email. Most emails don't deserve a read, let alone a reply. Try to check your email once an hour or so, and only reply when you have to. Once you've fixed your aimlessness, micromanaging, overscheduling, and email problems, you can take a productivity assessment from Posen on the Harvard Business Review's website. We've got a link to the assessment in our full write-up on this, which you can find on Curiosity.com and on our free Curiosity app for Android and iOS. But you might want to bookmark the assessment too, because Posen recommends taking it every year. You know, just to make sure you're not slipping. I check email all the time.
I check email way too often.
I have a notification come up on my computer every time I get an email, and usually the email isn't even important. It's just like a mailing list, but I check it anyway.
Yeah, it's bad.
I'm going to stop.
Good. How are you going to do that?
I'm going to turn off that notification, and maybe I'll set an hourly reminder to check my email instead.
I like that. I took the assessment, and my rating was 79 out of 105. Not terrible.
That's pretty good.
It said, quote, "You are in the mid-range of your peers on personal productivity. This means you are good at many aspects of getting things done, but there are several areas where you could develop better habits or skills to improve your productivity," unquote. And then they give me some suggestions on what I can work on based on my responses.
That's great.
Pretty cool.